Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Aluminum Tarot. Thanks so much for joining today. We are going to now do the reading for the sign of, let's see, what is this? Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising for now until a month, until mid-February of 2026. So we're going to look at some of the cards. We are now entering into the House of Aquarius for the Sun of the current, astrological makeup. And this is now giving us the chance to understand some of the things that require innovation, disruption, and rebellion. And rebellion is a good thing sometimes when we need it to take place in order to disrupt the order, that has been established upon everyone else or ourselves even. And what we're looking at, some of the other planets that are currently in Aquarius, we do have Sun. We also have the, if I'm not mistaken, true north node, sextiling the Sun in Aquarius. And then we also have Pluto and Mercury also in the house of Aquarius, making a conjunction. This is going to make for some very explosive conversations taking place within the world order and things that could potentially knock things out of alignment. So say, for example, we look at the Greenland situation, the Venezuela situation, the Minnesota situation. We've got a lot of linchpins right now, flashpoints that are, going to create some very disruptive scenarios, which could convene. Of course, Ukraine is still going on as well. And, there's a lot of potential for things to get kind of explosive to this point. But what we need to do is to practice diplomacy, be a bit detached and be able to, negotiate with people so that we can kind of channel some Libran energy into that, as well as having some innovative solutions for whatever is taking place. Maybe finding a way to circumnavigate or circumvent any problems that we're incurring. Similarly to what Canada has done, where they have decided, okay, yeah, United States wants to play hardball. We're going to just do business with the Chinese. So problem solved. It's a very simple one, but it's very innovative as well. Not to get into geopolitics too much, but that used to be one of my older professions, and I really enjoy that. I hope I do get back into that sometime soon. So before we get started, if you like what you see here, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. Feel free to contribute monetarily at the PayPal link in the description box below. And overall, I just always appreciate your support and time and energy and effort spent on listening to these podcasts or these readings. So we have for Gemini two quite gnarly looking cards right here. We have the Nine of Swords, and what this talks about. I always look at this. This is my teratoma card. This is a card where any kind of cancerous ideas or things that we think about can become their own kind of entity. And you can Google what a teratoma is. I don't really recommend it, but it's a pretty disgusting thing to have in your body. And that said, this is kind of how our fears and insecurities begin to grow. They start with a very small seed, and then they grow into a wild arrangement of different things and scenarios and possibilities, situations that can corrupt our judgment and our ability to see things for what they are. You being an air sign, what I would say for you, Gemini, you're kind of like in this period where you're feeling disempowered by whatever it is that is overwhelming your thought processes. And this is also creating a Queen of Cups in the reverse situation for you as well. What this tells us is that as you begin to grow mentally in a lot of conflicting, chaotic, thoughts or actions, you are becoming disconnected from your heart space. And the Queen of Cups is very connected to her heart space. She's the one with the most ornate chalice out of all of the signs. And so for her, it is very important to nurture that heart and to nurture the source of her emotional stability and groundedness. With that in the reverse, that is absolutely not the case. You're kind of like, I'm not saying the phrase batshit crazy, but it kind of feels like you're pushing yourself towards being batshit crazy. And the reason for all of this, the challenge, is because finances are not doing so well. And so what I tell people oftentimes, me being a Taurus and having gone through a lot of horrible, really awful situations in the past related to my job and career, when your finances are not in order, it can create mental disturbances that can be overwhelming because you're trying to find a way out of the situation. You're trying to find a solution to that circumstance. And it doesn't seem like anything's gelling very well for that. And so for your case, that is the energy that is currently guiding you. In the recent past, you have the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. So that is telling us a little bit about what has created the instability or how you feel about that instability. And this is King of Wands clarifying that. So it could be a boss figure. It could be potentially a venture that you decided to go on, which did not go as planned. But whatever it is, it feels almost like the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse is like your finances and your ability to be grounded, stable, and even take care of yourself have been completely disrupted. And since we're in this sign of Aquarius for this particular season, disruptions are going to be kind of the order of the day. However, what we see here with this Queen of Pentacles in the reverse and with that King of Wands, it's like you're trying to put on a happy face. You're trying to put on a positive and brave face. But unfortunately, that's not really how you're feeling internally. You're feeling kind of like, oh, fuck, I'm kind of like not in a good way right now, but I need to figure this out. I'm going to try to at least be brave enough to push forward and create a solution for this. However, what I see in the near future is going to be this. The thing that changes your circumstances is going to be the Hangman. And what this talks about is taking a pause, putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation so that you can gain the insights, clarity, and knowledge that you need in order to overcome a difficult circumstance. Because before that, we have the Justice. After that, we have 13, which is death. So after you go into that period, whatever it is that needs to die in your life, or whatever it is that you need to let go of, that's going to, be removed. Now we have more cards kind of extrapolating from this. We have the Four of Swords, and then we have the Seven of Swords. 4 plus 7 is 11 of Swords. That deduces down to a 2 of Swords. You are now kind of like at an impasse, doing your best to weigh your options, so that way you make the right and sound decision to be able to come out of this difficult situation. And we all know what the job market is like right now. It is absolutely fucked. And the people at the top are basically fucking the people at the bottom. And additionally, it doesn't seem like they really make a conducive environment for people to create startups that can then grow. And I'm not going to rant too much about that right now, but I have seen it firsthand, what kind of markets, especially the tech industry, create these environments for people to just absolutely lose their foundation. And so what we have here, speaking of the foundation, we talk about what is at the core, the root of your life at this current moment in time, and that's the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, clarified by the Ace of Wands. Now, when we combine these two cards as the foundation or the root of whatever it is that you're facing, the way you feel right now internally, and maybe even things that are not necessarily known to you. But what we talk about, the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, is about feeling absolutely stuck and trapped in a situation that doesn't seem to be moving forward. You may have been waiting for a long time, being delayed when it comes to the things that you have tried to call into your life, and you are desperately seeking that new start, which is the Ace of Wands. But these two, it's perhaps once you find the solution that you need to in the near future, that Wheel of Fortune in the reverse is going to move to the Ace of Wands, and then that way you can finally become unstuck. You can get the spanner out of your wheel, and then you can pry it out, throw it, and be like, fuck this, I'm actually going to go forward and try my best to make, this situation into something much better. Because what we see at the very top, this is at your crown, we have the High Priestess in the reverse, and we also have the Seven of Wands in the reverse. You feel like giving up. You feel like what the effort that you have put into things in the past are not paying off, and it's making you feel like disconnected from your intuitive faculties. So with the High Priestess in the reverse, it can insinuate two things. Either A, you're something is coming to light that you may need to give up on something, or B, it's difficult for you to fight for that which you really need because you feel disconnected from your intuition. And that's something that we don't want. We want ourselves to sit in the high priestess because she is the complement to the Hierophant. And I haven't seen the Hierophant in ages in this deck. He's hiding out somewhere, in the deck. I've shuffled the hell out of the thing, and it's just some messages are just not revealing themselves, but I do see a lot of repeat messages. And for this, what this talks about is that with the High Priestess in the reverse, Seven of Wands in the reverse, you're feeling discombobulated by a lot of the things that are taking place. And what is going to eventually take place in the ultimate outcome of this entire period, we have the Seven of Cups in the reverse, and then we have the Six of Swords in the reverse as well. And with these two, it tells us that in order for you to move forward into a better place in your life, to move to the other shore, out of the choppy waters and into calmer lands, you have to make things a bit clearer in your life, which are going to help you to see the best path forward. So you feel almost like in limbo right now. And yeah, okay. Yep. All right. So in order for you to overcome this difficulty, the advice for you right now, or what is kind of highlighting what needs to take place with you, you have the Six of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. So by using that Knight of Wands energy, go towards support systems that are going to help you move forward. If you need to apply for like unemployment, if you need to seek support from your family, whatnot like that, these are the things that you need to proactively move towards, and that will help you to receive the assistance, whether it's financial, mental, emotional support, that will be conducive to you getting out of the rut that you felt yourself trapped in for a long time. So, in order for this to be a success, here are the two cards. We were talking about the Angelarium card from the emanation of the Oracle of Emanations. And so we have here Archangel Zachariel, which is the angel of memory. And this talks about us being able to recall all of the situations and circumstances which have led you to this particular point in time. Doing that, you are allowed to actually pull and draw from the, one thing I've been chatting with a friend of mine is the Akashic Records. Pulling from the Akashic Records all of the experiences that are known to the universe, past, present, and future, as there is none in that state, and being able to recall a solution. So you're not looking for a solution, you're recalling that solution. And what that's going to be, that's what that's going to help you to do, is to know that the answers are always there with you. It's just a matter of you tapping into that, getting back into that high priestess in the upright, which is going to then in turn allow you to internally understand and know where you're supposed to go next. Because once you do that, you can do this. You can surrender to the divine, which is your full moon, which is your moonology message. By surrendering to the divine, what that's going to help you to do is to pull all of that energy into one specific source where you can then shine a light in the darkness from whatever it is that you've been facing, especially in your finances, or at least in your family life. If this Ten of Pentacles is the family foundation that you have created, then in turn, what you can do is then say to yourself, there is a solution. I am not powerless at this particular point. Rather than being in my head, I need to step back into my heart, and that will help me to connect with my crown chakra and my third eye chakra, which will then start guiding me with all of the different messages that I need to know in order to create this solution. Oh, God. That's a lot to digest. Hopefully it wasn't too much of a blather, but thank you very much for your time and attention. I appreciate that. This has once again been Aluminum Tarot. I'm going to keep moving forward with these readings, and thank you so much again for joining me for this reading for the sign of Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, for all of the things that are taking place from now until mid-February. That's going to be it for now. Thank you so much. Until next time, love and light.